This is Dr. Linda, and today I want us to talk about the challenges that a lot of family people face when they are trying to relocate. If you're a family person and you are about relocating, what are the challenges you are facing? Perhaps I'll be able to give you maybe guideline on how you can go about it, and we'll take it up from there. If you're not a family person and you're getting married soon, because sometimes when we talk about family people, some people be like, I'm single, it does not concern me. If you're getting married soon, pay attention. I remember there was this lady that took my master class some time ago, and at that point she and her husband to be were planning their wedding. So because of all that we were saying and doing, she was able to cut her wedding budget. She was able to cut her wedding budget to accommodate and plan for her study abroad, instead of finishing the wedding, aka finishing all the money that she have saved for a very long time, she and her fiance. And at the end of the day, they won't be able to travel again, right? So she was able to do that, and that really helped them. That means that unlike many people that finished their wedding and went for honeymoon and came back to continue, life as usual, they finished their wedding and the lady and her husband relocated. They went to UK then. They went to UK. I'm sure by now she must have finished her program and everything. So if you're an upcoming couple, just know that it is also still possible for you to plan with your spouse to relocate, right? That instead of spending all your money on wedding or spending all your money on child dedication, you can actually channel some of those savings towards your relocation, towards your study abroad, towards your family relocation. All right. That's talking about people who want to relocate, and especially upcoming couples. And the challenge upcoming couples face is that they have money, but most times the whole wedding thing is going to eat a lot of that money from them, right? Take out a lot of that money. And one thing with wedding, if you've planned one before, one thing with wedding is that you are always spending above budget, So you're like, okay, this is how much I'm going to spend, but all of a sudden there is somebody that is coming. There is something extra to do. More canopies needed, more decoration needed, more something, more food. Your friends are coming with their friends too, So, so a lot of couples that want to relocate often face the challenge of ballooning budgets. Okay, but now let's look at newly married couples. All right, newly married couples sometimes, as a newly married couple, there are lots of things you're trying to do. A baby may be on the way and everything. Okay, so there was a lady that reached out to me recently and said that her visa was already out, but she just found out she was pregnant. Could she still go? Her spouse was already saying she should wait, give birth before she start traveling. The unfortunate thing is that according to the visa she got, she waiting is also going to affect the visa. Possibly mean that eventually she may have to throw that visa away and start afresh. And I was like, why not relocate with your spouse? Why not relocate with your spouse? Even if both of you can't relocate, why not go first and your spouse can join, right? Of course, it's going to be discomforting right now. It's going to be discomforting. But the point is that you just found out you are pregnant, and you are probably just 1 month pregnant or 2 months pregnant now. And you're like, you know what? You're going to wait until you give birth before you travel. You don't know how things are going to turn out. You don't know what is going to happen. You don't know how the economy is going to be. You don't know what the visa rules are going to be 1 year from today. All right, and sometimes you're going to tell yourself that as soon as they'll put it this way, as soon as I drop this baby, I'm going to relocate. Let me tell you, it is easier for you to travel pregnant than for you to travel with a newborn baby, because with a newborn baby, the kind of housing you are going to go for is going to be different. Everything is going to be different. Even you're just recovering. How is it really going to work? Have you thought about that? Have you thought about that? So, as a newborn baby, when you have a newborn baby, it's not going to be as easy as you think. So, travel now. There's no better time to travel. There's always something that is going to come up. There's no better time to travel but to travel now. All right? And for people who already have kids, remember that you can relocate with your spouse and you can relocate with your kid or with your children. Don't say, but we are 3. Now, I have 3 kids. How are we going to do it? How am I going to do it? It does not matter. Especially if you are going through the study abroad route, you can actually relocate with your children or kid if you just have one. And you can go with your spouse as well. Whether it's the husband that is studying or the wife that is studying, the other person can go with the person who got admission as their dependent. Right? So, now, do you know the sweet thing about our program? The sweet thing about our program is that, if you are going as a single person, yeah, it works for you. But if you are going as a family, it is even extremely cheap. Think about it. A single person is going to go by themselves, right? But if you are coming as a family, you pay the same price as a single person. I mean, for Vantage Migration Training Program, right? You pay the same price as that a single person will pay. But now maybe you have 1 kid. So you, your spouse, and 1 child will be traveling. 3 people under 1 payment. Maybe you have 3 kids. 3 kids, you and your spouse, 5 people will be traveling. So what we noticed is that it is extremely unbelievably cheap for families. And yet, these same family members, one thing you have to understand is that as a family, if you are relocating as a family, it's even more expensive for you. Do you get? It's even more expensive for you to relocate as a family, because you don't only have to think of the money for yourself, you have to think of the money for your spouse, you have to think of the money for your child or children if you have any. All right? So this means that you have to look for a lot of money. This is where we helping you and showing you and guiding you to be able to get funding becomes even more beneficial. There are lots of family people that they wouldn't have been able to relocate abroad if it is not that they went through Vantage Migration Program. I remember one lady, her husband was giving her trouble with the whole relocation thing. You know what she did? For me, she was so smart. She used her savings and paid for the money. I paid for the training program. She went through it, got admission, and got funding, and then went back to her husband and said, see, she was showing the husband the admission letter. This is my admission letter. This is the funding. If you agree, all of us will just move to Canada. What do you think the husband said? Guess. What do you think the husband said? Make a guess. Because I see a lot of people saying, I have not convinced my husband yet. I have not convinced my wife yet. I'm not saying that you're going to travel without telling your spouse. That's not the point. But there are many things you can do in order to better convince your spouse, instead of using them as an excuse for why you have not started. Remember, they are part of the family, but you're also part of the family. Every day you are here listening to me, you really want this thing, they hurt you for chest. But you are waiting until when your wife will file along, or when your husband will file along. There is time that you are going to bring them. Why not get started? I can bet you that many people who say that their spouse will not agree, their husband will not agree, their wife will not agree. If you were to bring admission letter with scholarship, and you are showing your husband that if he agrees now, you put all of you's name in visa, all of you will travel. Or you are telling your wife, if she agrees now, you put all of you's name and all of you will relocate. What do you think your spouse is likely to say once the admission letter is already out? What with, especially with scholarship or even with study loan, because sometimes the breadwinner of the home is thinking, how will I fund this thing? That is the major reason they are saying no. They don't want while on their head. They're already paying rent. They're already doing this, doing that, paying children's school fees. They don't want you to come up with another thing that will take money from the house. In fact, they want you, think about it. They don't want you to bring anything that will take money from the house. Instead, they want you to bring ideas that will bring money to the family, right? That is what exactly the scholarship we do. That is what exactly the study loan we do. Right? So if you get that admission, you're telling your husband that I've been saying no, say, I know, honey, no vessel. I did this thing. If you don't agree, then I know I've done my best. But look at it. The school has given us all the money we need. 1 naira won't be coming out from your pockets. So all we need now is to put your name and my name and our children's name on that visa application, and our visa will come out. What do you say? Make a guess. Do you think the man or the woman will say no? Make a guess. Think about it yourself before you even imagine what they will say. Think about it yourself. If your spouse come to you today and say, I have gotten admission, they gave us scholarship, this is not going to take money from you, I just want to put your name so that we can submit our visa application, what will you say? Please drop a comment for me. All right, drop a comment for me. I want to know, what will you say? Please note, our scholarship master class is starting on Monday, starting this coming Monday. Ensure you register. And I mentioned to you that even though single people pay the same price with family people, but single persons are relocating only one person, but family people, they are relocating maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, depending on your family size. Is ridiculously cheap for families. I don't know why people will not take advantage of it. And if you think your spouse not being support, get that scholarship and go back to them and see if you will not convince them. The problem with you is that you are waiting for your spouse to come on board, even pay for the training program. At this point, when mentally they may still be feeling that it will not work. But from everything I've been saying on this page, you know it will work. Right? Don't count on them. Don't count on them saying yes now. Get the scholarship and go back to them, and you will see that they will say yes without hesitation. All right? Remember, drop a comment. What do you think if you are the one that your spouse have come to you and say, hey, we have scholarship, everything. I'll put your name now, put the children's name, and they'll give us visa and we'll relocate to Canada, or we'll relocate to US, or we'll relocate to UK. What do you have to say? Are you going to say yes or no? Drop a comment for me, all right?